Welcome, everybody, to the latest live edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Guardians Show, along with Zach Meisel. I'm Adam the Bull, and yes, there's a big homestand starting at Progressive Field this weekend, but it's not the biggest game for me this weekend, Zach.
No? What do you got, Bull?
Oh, baby. It's playoff time in the Pony League. I don't know why I'm singing it, but I'm very excited. It's the Ultimate Cleveland Guardians Show. All right, we'll get into it all today. The Guardians' struggles, Cooper Ingle getting recalled, something I've been screaming like a lunatic about for the last week on the big show, and the injuries and Steven Kwan struggles and Kate Smith, all of it. But tonight's a big night, Zach. A lot of pressure on me as the coach of the Rocky River Scorpions.
You going to give a big speech? What are you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
You don't just treat this like any other game and
No,
try not to put too much. You want pressure on their.
No, I give speeches. I try to fire the kids up every game. So,
okay.
I am I'm all about the big speech and pumping the kids up. But, my son and I have both never won a playoff game outside of fall ball. Like fall ball, we're the two-time defending champs. But fall ball is like, the winter league. It's nice to win, but it's not the main course.
Yeah, it's like the
main
NBA
course
Cup.
Is the long league. Yeah, exactly. So I love fall ball. I love that we've been successful there. But in Little League, we got eliminated in the first round of the playoffs every year, the 4 years he was in Little League. And this is, the equivalent of Little League at the next stage, Pony League. And so now our tournament, unlike Little League, we have a double elimination. But, we're a solid favorite today in the first round. So we need to take care of business.
Okay.
We are the 3 seed. We're playing the 6 seed, and they're missing their best player.
So what do you like, Donovan Mitchell? Not able to get out of the second round? Or like what's
the first round? I'm worse than Donovan Mitchell. I'll take it all on me. Bad coaching. But it turns around tonight.
Yeah.
We're missing one of our best players too, but we got our 2 best pitchers.
Okay.
Ready to go. So, all right. So I'll keep you folks up to date because I know you're waiting with bated breath to find out what happens.
Yeah, please text an update. Text an update when the game's over, please.
I will. Meanwhile, the Guardians, they're getting home after a long road trip. The road trip did not go particularly well. In fact, since winning those first 2 games against the Yankees back in early June, the Guardians have gone 6-12. That's the bad news. The good news is a guy that we've been talking about here for a couple of weeks is finally getting the call, Zach. Cooper Ingle, who's just killed the baseball in the minors, is getting the call. And let's start with, where do you think he's going to play? We're going to see him at left. We're going to see him at DH. I mean, is it time for Rhys Hoskins to have a seat on the bench? Or what are we doing here with Cooper Ingle?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a little bit of all of that.
Okay.
They can limit Rhys Hoskins at bats against righties, and that's where you'd get Cooper Ingle in at DH. Kyle Manzardo plays first. I think they've given Cooper Ingle a crash course on left field here. I think you'll see him out there as well. And remember, he played some outfield in college, so it wasn't completely new to him. They thought he'd be able to pick it up again pretty quickly. I think the big thing here is when the Guardians have been at their best this season, and that was most of May offensively, they were just torturing pitchers with patience. They were drawing a ton of walks. Jose Ramirez, Chase DeLauder, Travis Bazzana, even Steven Kwan. Those are guys who are walking as much or more than striking out. Brian Rocchio is part of that too. And they were stealing a lot of bases. They were running. So when they struggled, it was because they weren't getting the timely hit. And that's going to come and go for most teams, right?
Sure.
But the big thing for them was they were getting people on base and they were working pitchers. And it was just, it felt like a formula that could work. Like they were ranked at one point 3rd in the league in walk rate. That's a good sign. Now you just need some power from Manzardo or Hoskins or Jose or whoever. And then you can really do some damage. But they've gotten away from that. Part of that is the injuries, losing 2 of your more patient hitters in DeLauder and Ramirez. But, it's it's just been ugly. And like there are so many at bats that feel like they never had a chance, whether it's Arias, Fairchild. And so I think the big thing with Cooper Ingle is he fits the mold of what has made this offense go. Where if you look at his minor league stats, his career on base percentage is over 400. He's been a guy who walks more than he strikes out. And so I think that fits really well in this offense that allows everybody to settle down a little bit. Just getting another 4 professional at bats in there per game, I think can make a big difference. And they need that. They need just more guys who are going to give them a chance.
Yeah, not a big guy. He's 5'8", 190, bats left-handed. It seems like every good hitter with the Guardians ends up hitting left-handed. Throws right-handed, though. And he had a 967 OPS in Columbus. He played 51 games in Columbus, had 12 homers, 41 ribbies, 21 extra base hits, 33 runs scored. As you mentioned, the number 41 walks and 50 strikeouts. If you include his numbers in Akron, well, that was last year. But for his minor league career in the minors, 283 games, 209 walks, and 199 strikeouts. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's so like I don't want to compare everybody to Steven Kwan and just like that ability, but the strike zone awareness is big because what it means is what I think the thing that has made Bazana so impressive is or DeLauder earlier in the season. Remember, DeLauder was scorching hot hitting those home runs, and then he went cold. But when he went cold, he was still walking and he wasn't striking out. So that makes your slumps not as painful to go through. And I think that's kind of what Ingle can give you. Like the power is up this year. I don't know how real that is. Like, I don't think you're looking at him. He's going to be a singles, doubles, and walks kind of guy. You know, if he tosses in a few home runs, that's great. But you mentioned his size, like that's part of the equation here. So we'll see. I don't think he's going to be a guy that you hit third or fourth, long term. But certainly an upgrade in this lineup, and they need upgrades. And also, this is a good time to give some young players their first run in the majors. You're going to struggle anyway without 3 of your top hitters. Why not struggle with some kids and let them develop a little bit instead of running some retreads out there who we already know what they are?
Yeah, 100%. Thrilled that he's coming up. You talked about he played the outfield in college at Clemson. His last year at Clemson, he played 18. Last year he played 17 games in the outfield. The year before that, he played 18. So plenty of experience. And it's not that long ago. He was at Clemson 3 years ago. So it's not like he hasn't played the outfield at all. He's played 7 games in left field while in Columbus, 31 as a catcher and 12 at DH. So we'll see what they do. Be interesting to see. Do you know yet who's going to be gone? Is it Stuart Fairchild? Are they?
I don't know. Halpin would make sense just because he's a left-handed outfielder and they have enough people who can play center field. They love Petey Halpin though. So, Fairchild is like the easy one to pick on, but they are so addicted to platooning and I get it. You want some right-handed bats, but the key word there is bat.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Fairchild has one that's useful.
Yeah. They'll now have 4 players on the team that can catch.
And Cody Huff is at AAA, and he's probably deserving of a call-up too. And they've been bouncing him all around the field, infield, catcher. So, at some point you could see a 5th. I
still don't know why you traded for Patrick Bailey. I mean, I know why they traded for him for his defense, but anyway, we won't dwell on that. They mentioned on the road trip, they lost 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee, 2 out of 3 in Houston, and 2 out of 3 in Chicago. They did salvage that final game after Cade Smith blew the save. Cade Smith blew back-to-back saves. He'd mostly been very good before that after some early season struggles. It's been brought up to me a couple of times, should he be pitching more than an inning? And, when he in the game that he blew on not Saturday, was it Tuesday? The first game that he blew, before that, he hadn't pitched in a while.
Yeah, so that game, they were using him in the 8th inning if they were down, no matter what, just to get work. Yeah. So it just so happened. So they did that.
Yeah.
And then it just so happened that they took the
Exactly.
lead or tied it. And
I got no problem in that, especially in that scenario, them using him for more than one inning.
yeah.
What's your general thought on him pitching more than an inning?
I don't mind it with him, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't overworked him. It's not like he's the only thing that you're questioning is whether he can handle the get an out or two, go
Right.
back to the dugout, sit
Right.
for a little bit, and then go back out there. Go look at his pitch counts. Like, there's nothing exorbitant. There's
No, not at
nothing,
all.
he had one game against Detroit 2 weeks ago where he threw 31 pitches and he got 4 outs and he
Yeah.
sealed that. It was a 3-1 win. But that was more because in the ninth inning, he was just laboring a little bit, and his pitch count guy, like that's the exception to the rule.
Right.
Like, look at his pitch counts
Right.
over the
Very
last month or so. Like,
Yeah.
the Chicago series was a little rough. No argument there. But otherwise, like, his high for a pitch count since early April was 23. So
And
he's not pitching like 3 straight days
No.
much. Like, if you look at his workload, like, it's either in line or like even a little bit curbed from what it was the last 2 years. And it's I don't worry about him. He's such a robot. He's such
Yeah.
everybody. I've been working on something involving him, and everyone I've talked to recently says not only is he the hardest working player on the team, he's like the hardest working person in the organization. And so,
Yeah.
like, he's more prepared than anybody. So I don't worry about like the mentality of anything with him.
Yeah.
It's just the physical. And if the physical is getting one extra out, usually he's going to do it efficiently. So I think that's just looking for a reason to explain a bad outing. And sometimes guys have bad outings. The dude was automatic. What do you have? 21 consecutive saves without a blown save before this week. So not worried about it.
I have zero concern about him pitching more than an inning, and I have zero concern about just the fact that he's had bad back-to-back appearances. It happens. Even the best closers will have a week or two where they don't pitch great for whatever reason. I don't think it's a big deal. We were talking about this a little bit yesterday. I'm curious your opinion. We were talking about potential trades for the Guardians, and one thing we were talking about Jarren Duran for the Red Sox, and then Jason mentioned they should try to get Aroldis Chapman in that deal, and we were talking about it, and we were discussing if they got somebody like Chapman. Is Chapman the closer and Cade Smith does the Andrew Miller type role, or vice versa? What do you think?
I think that specific example, I think Chapman gets the 9th because
that's what I thought.
Go look at his workload this year.
Yeah.
They've been very careful with him now.
Yeah.
He's 38 years old, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part of it. And he had been dealing with, I can't remember. I think he had been dealing with something and he wasn't using it as an excuse, but like they clearly were. I think he's made 4 appearances in June. So they've been careful with him. I don't think he's a guy who you can say,
right,
all right, go do that fireman role where you're coming in the 6th, then you're going an inning and 2/3 and cleaning things up. Cade Smith could probably do that. We've seen him do that the last 2 years, right? And
is
Cade
there
Smith
any concern about like him being ticked off that he lost his closer role, or is he not that kind of guy?
Again, I would go back to I just think the mental side of it, he's just very different. I think he would. I think I wonder if it would hurt him a little bit. He can go to arbitration this winter, and arbitration's pretty antiquated with what they value, and they're looking at saves will help you and things like that. But he's so I don't think you can fluster him mentally. So I think he'd be fine with whatever.
Yeah. One other thing I want to hit on the Guardians, and then I want to talk about what's going on with the negotiations here a little bit.
Really quick on Chapman though, but he's got a vesting option for next year if he pitches 40 innings, $13 million. I find it hard to believe the Guardians are going to guarantee any reliever who's going to be 39 years old next year $13 million.
Couldn't you just trade him this offseason? I mean, if he pitches the way he has so far this year, it's only for a big market team. 1 year, $13 million for him is nothing.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not saying they're going to get you're going to have to give up more now than you'll get back this offseason. But if I mean, to have those two guys with Sobrowski and maybe Espino and Alamon in the playoffs.
Colin Holderman.
Colin
150
Holderman,
ERA.
where he's pitched. Yeah, I mean, that could be pretty nasty. The Kwan conundrum right now, when everybody's back, Mikey McNuggets asked me this question. I don't know if you heard about I don't know what you heard, but anyway, on Tuesday's show, he asked the question, is there a chance Steven Kwan could get sent to the minors? No. And I said probably not, but it's not crazy. You're saying it's crazy.
He's their best defensive outfielder.
Yeah.
And when everybody's back, you're adding DeLauder and Martinez to the mix.
Right.
But who else is out there in the outfield that you need to see? Khalil Watson, Ingle. Yeah. But when Martinez and DeLauder come back, someone's gonna have to go down. Also, Martinez is not close to coming back. Like, let me say
he's not. Okay.
They're hopeful DeLauder is gonna be back on this homestand.
Yeah.
But they also, as of Wednesday morning, I think I asked, they had not even discussed whether he needs a rehab assignment or not.
Yeah.
So I think the hope that DeLauder can come back on this homestand is probably the end of the homestand. And it's a 10-gamer.
Yeah.
But
on Helmore after the break.
Yeah. I don't think he's close. Jose that's one where you just don't know until pretty close to when he's ready because of the surgery. But Martinez is tricky. I don't think they know. That's something that had been bothering him a lot throughout the season. So anyway, my point is, like, I don't think Kwan goes to the minors. They're paying him almost $8 million. He's playing Gold Glove defense again, but I also don't know
Gold Glove defense in left field when you're the worst hitter in baseball right now.
Yeah, but we could play center field.
Yeah, but he's not a Gold Glove center fielder.
I also don't know. Martinez has made improvements. He leads the team in home runs. That's great. If you look at the overall scope of things, he's been a league average hitter. Like that's how bad this offense is that we've said, like, oh, they're struggling so much. Well, it's because they're down their top 3 hitters. Yeah, but the top 3 hitters,
tell that to Jason, because I said the same thing. Like, let's not get carried away. There's other teams that got a million injuries.
Yeah, it shows how bad the depth is, right? Like that's the problem, is that the drop off from guys who are having average seasons is so steep. My point is, if they had like 3, no doubt, like, of course these 3 guys have to be your starting outfield, then maybe there's a different conversation with Kwan. But also, I don't think he's going to the minors. I think he would just go to a part-time role.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't hit, like, that might happen anyway. And you mentioned it. Like, who do you think you're going to prefer to see hit in a month? Cooper Ingle or Steven Kwan?
Yeah, I mean, I think Cooper Ingle. I mean, Kwan's been so bad for the whole season. I mean, you never know. Cooper Ingle will come up and he can be terrible. You never know with young players.
But you're going to want the defensive replacement late in the game.
That's fair. I think, especially if they're aggressive and going after an outfielder in a trade, which they should be, then Kwan's definitely going to the bench. And that doesn't mean he couldn't put it back on track next year. But, I mean, at this point, it's half the season. Yeah,
I also wonder, this is pure speculation and just a fleeting thought I've had the last couple days. Kwan is going to be due another $8-9 million in arbitration this winter.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Guardians are going to want to give him that.
Yeah, they could.
And in that case, you would say, okay, you either non-tender him and just cut him loose, or you try to trade him for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Could you trade him for pennies on the dollar now and just get out ahead of it? And then you open up more opportunities for Watson and Ingle, et cetera. Like, I could wonder that.
You wonder.
There could be a team that looks at his metrics and says, we can fix him.
That's right.
Let's
maybe
buy low.
He's part of a trade where you're getting an outfielder.
Yeah.
I could see that, even though obviously his trade value was way down from where it was, way down. All right, let's wrap things up here with talk about, obviously the proposals going back and forth, and, both sides are putting out their rhetoric. And I think I've said this before with you, Zach. I mean, I've always been a union guy. I always support unions. Now, sports unions are not like most unions in America. It's very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
I have both sides are full of crap. Neither side cares about the fan. I'm not saying
That's the problem. Yep.
I'm not saying there aren't a couple of owners that appreciate the fans, and I'm not saying there aren't some players that do care about the fans. I'm sure there are. But by and large, neither side cares about the fans. Both sides could do things that would make the game better. That should be the number one priority. But neither side, that they want to make the game better in theory, but that's not anywhere close to the top priority for either side.
Yeah, it's the owner side has been interesting to me because the thing that has given me concern, I think, for years leading up to this is that the problem is the players have never been on the same page in terms of 95% of the players. Like I just had this conversation with, I was talking to Jason Kipnis in Chicago, and he made like 50 some million during his career, and he's trying to figure out what he wants to do. And he dabbled. He was on the radio broadcast for the Guardians this week. He's done a little TV. He's got some investments with restaurants and stuff. And he's just trying to figure out everything. And it's because these guys, your playing career goes quick. He spent a decade in the big leagues, and then it's over. And now he's like, okay, what do I do? And he was saying, like, thank God I got the contract I got. He had a couple good years when he was really young and was pre-arbitration and signed a long-term deal, and it guaranteed him $50 million. And he can live this post-playing career life, not knowing what to do and feeling the anxiety of that, knowing financially he's fine.
Yeah.
Most guys don't get that, right? Most guys, you're lucky if you play for 3 or 4 years and it goes well, you get to arbitration where you can make like $2 million, right? And then if you play another good season, maybe you get to $5 million. And it is so hard to get that generational wealth that we just assume every player has, but that's not the reality. And so the players have looked out for the guys who sign, like, they're so focused all the time on the Juan Sotos of the world. And I understand that. And I understand you don't want to put limits to what guys can earn, but that can't be the priority over the vast majority of guys who are never going to even sniff that, And so
more than half the league is making minimum salary.
Yeah. And these careers don't last. Like, look at pitchers, especially. You tear your elbow, you're out for 2 years, and then you're lucky if you come back as a reliever who can survive for a couple of years. You know what I mean? Like
Tristan McKenzie.
Exactly. Like, we've seen so many stories like that. So my concern has been that the players are united when I almost wish they weren't so united. And the owners, I was very curious how the Yankees and Dodgers owners and owners like that were going to spar with the Dolans and the Nuttings and the Monforts of the world, who don't spend money and who just sit quietly and take their revenue sharing, and they actually seem united. And so it's really strange. We'll see where this goes. It's obviously just looking so bleak and dark, and that's natural for this point too, because why would either side start to cave in June? But I'll tell you this, like, December 1st, there's going to be a lockout, and 100%. it's just a matter of, like, how you said it. It's like, I hope either side cares about the fans, because as strongly as both sides believe in their cause, if you cost yourself games, and it's not even, it's games, but it's also just the threat of games can do some damage, and not having any baseball activity in the off season. We know that in Cleveland, like, that hurts the popularity of baseball in the city.
No doubt.
The fact that you can just shut off your Guardians attention span from November to February every year, like, that hurts too. And so I don't know. It looks bleak. I hope cooler heads prevail. But you said it too. Like, we also need change. There need to be things that change. And so
the system is not. The public sentiment is on the owner's side. It shouldn't be completely, and because they're in it for themselves to just the players are right that the owners just care about their bottom line for the most part. But the owners' greediness and their side seems like it will benefit the fans more. And so the fans are going to be on their side. Now, we need to learn more about like the minimum salary and how they're going to enforce that, because a salary cap is not enough. The minimum is to me even more important than the salary cap. I like getting rid of the deferments.
Yeah.
I think one of the things they suggested yesterday, they put in there that you can't sign longer than a 5-year contract, but you can sign a 6-year contract to stay with your team.
Yeah, I think bird rights.
I think you should be able. I think they should make it. You could sign an unlimited length of contract to stay with your team, but only 5 years if you go to another team, which would incentivize players to stay with their teams.
Yeah. I mean,
I get why the players don't want to go for all of it, but the fans are not going to be on their side, like it or not. They're not.
I was talking through some stories with an editor this week, and they're like, they're based in the Northeast. They know the Yankees really well, and we're talking about the best timing to run certain things, saving good feature ideas, and they were like, oh yeah, there'll be a time like down the stretch where it'll be great. Like the Guardians will probably catch fire and they'll cruise to a division title. And you should run those stories right then before they lose to the Yankees in the playoffs. And it's just like, but like, why does that have to be? That doesn't have to be the sentiment every single year.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody, today. We'll be back next Friday, same time. Wrap up a couple minutes early here today. I'll be on the big show today. We're going to start the show previewing the weekend series. The first game against the Mariners will be on WKYC Channel 3 today, so make sure you watch that. In fact, the Guardians facing Luis Castillo, who's not the pitcher he once was, but you never know. He can still – and they're facing some good pitchers the next 3 days after this, with the Mariners have mostly good pitching, and then they're going to face DeGrom to start the next series. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll talk to you next tonight. Thank you. Big game. I'll let you know how it goes. We'll talk to you next time. Where else but right here on the Ultimate Cleveland Guardians Show.